I was thinking today that before that why did so many people, so many young Christians tend to fall away in college? And I'm not going to blame the teachers at the college. That's our usual thing, is, well, they're just ungodly people. But I think it's deeper than that, because a lot of us went out and didn't go to college and went to work. Some fall away, some don't. But actually the ones that just went out to work tend to stick around more. And I started thinking about that, and when you go to work, you're in an unfamiliar environment, and the people around you are not the same age, they're not the same anything as you're used to anymore, and so you still go back to church to be with family. When you go away to college, you're there with all these new friends who are very much like you, and you get a new family, and you forget the old family. We need, as a church, to make the family so inviting that when people leave, because people move away, when people go to college, that they miss the family so much, they go back to church. Because we need to have this desire to see our family, and that includes our older brother Jesus. We want to be that. I think it's important that the church learns to be that place where people not only walk in and go, oh, it's friendly, it's nice, where when they walk in, they can feel the presence of Jesus. Maybe that's why sometimes people leave. Right? The name of the lesson today is, I Don't Understand. I've been thinking about this about the last 2 or 3 weeks, because I just don't understand anything anymore. I don't understand why people do stupid things. I don't understand why smart, intelligent people aren't vaccinated. I don't understand why we have to have funerals for people that didn't have to do that. I don't understand why our country does what it does. Why evil is called good and good evil. I don't understand why if you destroy an eagle's egg, you go to jail and pay a huge fine, but if you take an unborn human's life, it's okay. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why godly people die and evil people just keep on breathing. I don't understand the justice system anymore. Evil people don't go to jail, and good people do sometimes. I don't understand. It's just the world I live in today. Just throw up my hands and I just don't understand. I hate it. I think many of you feel the same. God knows that we feel that way, and He understands our confusion and our anger. In fact, he included an entire book in the Holy Scriptures about helping a righteous man come to terms with a similar situation. That's the book of Habakkuk. Now, usually we don't do too much preaching out of the Old Testament because we're not under the law now. I want you to turn to Galatians, the 4th chapter, and verses 1 through 4. Galatians, the 4th chapter, verses 1 through 4. I mean that the heir, as long as he is a child, is no different from a slave, though he is the owner of everything. But he is under guardians and managers until the date set by his father. In the same way, we also, when we were children, were enslaved to the elementary principles of the world. But when the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son, born of woman, born under the law. And I'm going to go on to verse 5. To redeem those who were under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. We are not under the law, but the law was a guardian, a manager, a tutor. We don't live under the rules that were set down when we were children. You know what? I crossed the street. How many of you remember being told, don't you cross the street? I cross the street now. I still look both ways. Because those things that we were taught as law when we were children, they're no longer laws, but the principles behind those laws and rules that we had as children, those principles are still valid today. And that's the way our relationship as Christians is to the law. The principles still apply, so we need to learn those things. And that's why we're going to Habakkuk, to learn some of those principles. So I'm going to start reading with Habakkuk 1 through 4. And I don't know whether it's Habakkuk or Habakkuk. I don't think it really matters because he's been dead a long time and I don't think he cares how we pronounce his name. In fact, that's one of the things problems that people have with Bible study and reading the Bible is that we focus on the wrong things. Focus on the way things are pronounced or the little things instead of focusing on the reality of it. The oracle that Habakkuk the prophet saw. O Lord, how long shall I cry for help, and you will not hear? Or cry to you violence, and you will not save? Why do you make me see iniquity? And why do you idly look at wrong? Destruction and violence are before me. Strife and contention arise. So the law is paralyzed, and justice never goes forth. For the wicked surround the righteous, so justice goes forth perverted. You know, that sounds just almost exactly like how I started, except it said better. is crying out to God and he wants an answer because he doesn't understand what's going on. He knows that God is all powerful, and he knows that what's going on isn't right, and he just can't figure out step. But the thing is Habakkuk doesn't like God's answer. Sometimes, I hate to say it, but the reason we don't understand is because we don't like God's answer. Why do people do stupid things? Because God gave people free will. Why do people do evil? Because there's an adversary out there, a Satan, that tempts people and does that. We don't like that answer because we like to think that, well, people are going to do the right things. They're going to do the smart things. They're going to... Free will means that people are going to do dumb things. It means that good people will sometimes do unrighteous things. That's what it means. And if you're glad that God has given you the ability to hear the gospel, believe the gospel, and be saved, then you have to accept the reality that people aren't always going to do the right thing. Sometimes they'll be silly. We get so upset when good people die. Past few weeks, two great Christians passed away. A guy I worked with passed away. I don't like it. It just hurts me to see them go. I want you to turn now, though, to Hebrews 9 and 27. And just as it is appointed for man to die once, and after that comes the judgment. Unless we are sitting here when the Lord comes back in the clouds, we're going to die. And the fact is, it doesn't matter whether it's in 2 minutes or 20 years. We're never ready for it. We never like it. It doesn't matter whether it's a young child, an innocent person who is caught up in murder, or whether it's an old person who passes away in their sleep. We don't like it, but the fact is that that's the one thing that is waiting for all of us. If you're born, you're going to die. And we don't like it. Turn now to 2 Timothy 4, 7 and 8. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Henceforth, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but also to all who have loved his appearing. always look at things the right way. We look at death as this terrible thing. And yet, for the innocent, for those who are washed in the blood of Jesus Christ, it's a good thing. It's a going home. It's a wonderful thing. It sort of reminds me of the window sticker that those of our number who went to Hawaii have on the back of their car. It's a beautiful sticker with a beautiful idea. It is he and the sign from math that means greater than I. The way I write greater than is smaller than the letters. They write it the same size. And I and several other people who just, I guess we're just not as bright. Every time I see that, it looks like heck. I cannot. The point is, we as human beings don't always see things correctly. That says he is greater than I, just as clear as can be, and I never get to see it. Sometimes we don't understand because we're not seeing clearly. Now, Habakkuk was told that God would use the Chaldeans to bring about his judgment. Habakkuk didn't like that. That's not the answer he wanted. Instead of God bringing in this terribly fierce, mean nation that would destroy so much, kill so many people, cause so much destruction, he wanted God just to sort of give a little DeNozo head slap to the nation and straighten it up. God knew that that wouldn't work. I'm going to read Habakkuk 1, 5 through 7. This is what God said. He said, "Look among the nations and see, wonder and be astounded, for I am going to do a work in your days that you would not believe if told. For behold, I am raising up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, who march through the breadth of the earth to seize dwellings not their own. They are dreaded and fearsome. Their justice and dignity go forth from themselves." Their justice is their own justice. It's not God's justice. They have different rules, different everything, and it's all to them. Habakkuk did not appreciate that. He had forgotten that every time God had punished the children of Israel, they became stronger for it. That it was good. God knew what was needed. And he explains to Habakkuk in the rest of the next couple of chapters that it'll be made right in time. Chaldeans will be punished for their excesses. God is working in a world where Satan is, where humans have free will, and he is still juggling everything so that all things work together for the good of those that love the Lord. If you had a quantum computer, you couldn't do that. That is so difficult. And so why do we get upset if we don't understand? There's a lot of things in this world I don't understand. I don't understand how that TV of mine works. I don't understand how my phone works. Makes no sense to me. The thing is I don't have to understand. I have faith that when I tap into this stupid thing, what I want will get done. When I look at this and I look at the verse and I go, okay, I want this book, and I go, okay, here we go, I'm in Matthew, and I don't know how it does it. And I don't know why sometimes when I punch it, it doesn't work. The point is, that's okay. God's answer is you don't have to understand. Just wait. It will work out. I don't know about you, but I like watching TV. And so many times when I'm watching TV, somebody will say, "Who's that?" And I'm always polite and go, "I'm not sure." But my mind is saying inside, "Why don't you just wait? You'll figure it out in a minute. They haven't said it yet." Sometimes we're like that. We see life unfolding before us, and we want to know the answer before it's revealed. Just wait. God will take care of it. Turn to Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. And read verses 3 and 4. For still the vision awaits its appointed time. It hastens to the end. It will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay. That was God's answer to Habakkuk. Just wait. You don't have to understand now. You will. Habakkuk was so angry with God, but he ends it in the 3rd chapter, verses 17 through 19. Though the fig tree should not blossom, nor fruit be on the vines, the produce of the olive fail, and the fields yield no food, the flock be cut off from the fold, and there be no herd in the stalls. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will take joy in the God of my salvation. God, the Lord, is my strength. He makes my feet like the deer's. He makes me tread on my high places. And that was written to the choir master with the stringed instruments. This is a prayer, but it was also a song. That's quite a thought. No figs, no grapes, no olives, no food in any of the fields. The stables are empty. There's no food. They're starving. And he says, yet I will rejoice in the Lord, no matter what happens. The man of faith rejoices in the Lord. We don't understand, but God will make our feet like the deer. I grew up in a little place called Toyon, right by Lake Shasta. And we would always go up to Shasta Dam, and there was a herd of deer that was there. And they would come down and eat the grass on the meadow. But then at night, they would go into the mountains, and go up into the hills. Well, the only flat place there was the grass. You drove up on the road from the mountains, you came down. But if you looked at the mountains that were right by the parking lots, there were these little bitty trails. They're about 4 inches wide, and they go crisscross all the way up to the top. He makes our feet like the deer. Lets us get to the high places. The deer go up in the mountains, so people can't kill them. He gives us a way of escape. Sometimes that way of escape is he takes us home. But that's still a way of escape. It's important that we as Christians learn to trust God and know that He's working things out in His own time. I don't know how things are going to turn out. That's okay, because I don't have to. My God knows how they're going to turn out. He's taking care of us. Anybody here needs to answer the invitation. We always open this time up. Because God is taking care of His children. If you want that promise, you need to be one of His children. You need to answer coming out as we stand and as we sing, and the song's going to be number 939.